Bum bum bum, welcome back. Today we're gonna be reacting to Remember Real Steel, which is the robot fuck with the kid that goes boom boom boom. Wait, it's this one, right? Let's just be sure. Yeah, it's the one with the kid that at the end of I'm not gonna spoil, but the kid fights. Let's just say that. This kid, dude, I loved this movie as a fucking kid. It was so good. Even the it was so cool too, like the robots fighting. It's like you're controlling the robots, but you're not really controlling them.
I like robots.
We'll see.
Whoa. I can't remember what happened in 2011, but what I can remember is when movies came out. Now you might be asking yourself, why? That's such a
Didn't watch this.
randomly specific year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to reintroduce you to the blockbuster family action drama sci-fi family action drama science fiction sport movie Real Steel. To a 9-year-old me, this movie was everything. This movie had everything. In just over 2 hours, I watched a man sell his son for money and teach a robot how to fight. Kid me thought Real Steel was perfect. But apparently, a lot of people didn't like it. Disappointing, cheesy, atrocious. I'm not gonna read this one. I don't want to. Didn't like it. Disappointing.
Disappointing. I am a big fan of Hugh Jackman movies. This is what drew me towards this film in the first place. After reading the initial reviews, I was very hopeful and was looking forward to watching it. However, I was wrong. I don't understand why why it is rated so highly. This movie was awful, comma. Most of it made no sense, comma. The acting was real bad at times and there was no structure to the movie. The writer has wasted a great dude, it wasn't that the whole concept of the movie was you're poor, you sell your son, then you get a big robot, and then you win robot boxing. You get money. That's it. To be fair, yeah, thinking about it, there wasn't really that big of a yeah.
Cheesy, atrocious. I'm not gonna read.
Uh, Big robots pounding each other's head for 2 hours. Yeah, that's the whole point. I think that's fine.
This one.
Like I like that.
I don't want to. These reviews are brutal, but are they right? Am I just looking
No.
back at a childhood memory with rose-tinted glasses? Is Real Steel actually mid? Kinda. It's a little mid. The date is October 4th, 1963. Russia's sending people to space, the civil rights movement is in high swing, and convertible cars are about to get really cheap. But tonight, as the clock strikes 9:30, you and your family are gathered around this massive television to watch Season 5, Episode 2 of Elite.
Wait,
You and
I think
your
I had
family
this
are
one.
gathered around this
Nah, the one I had was a bit smaller.
massive television
But I
to
did have like one of these like chunky thick TVs.
watch Season 5, Episode 2 of a little show called The Twilight Zone. You might have heard of it.
In Cuba and here as well, I'm pretty
The
sure.
episode Steel, based off a short story of the same name, follows former heavyweight boxer Tim Steel Kelly and his partner / mechanic Poole as they prep their broken down robot for a fight it's sure to lose. You see, in this world, legislation was passed banning the use of actual humans in boxing. Instead, prize fighting robots were developed to take their place. Sound familiar? I know, we'll get there. But there's a problem. You see, besides being held together by a roll of duct tape and the indomitable human spirit, their robot Maxo is a B2 boxing android, which, you know, is only like 5 generations older than its opponent, so, you know, I'd say it's
So yeah,
pretty
he should lose.
As the team tries desperately to prep Maxo for the coming storm, he breaks, and in a bout of desperation and blind courage, the forgotten heavyweight boxer turned manager decides to fight in his place. Despite numerous pleas from his partner begging him not to fight in a battle he might not even survive, Steel steps in the ring anyways, and for the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds proceeds to get absolutely mollywopped. Collapsing to the floor after what can only be described as a monumental ass whooping, the only thing
robots don't really get tired. So yeah, it's like it's constant hit.
that runs through Steel's mind is fixing Maxo up and getting him back in the ring. As the camera slowly pans out, the iconic narration of Rod Serling leaves us with this: portrait of a losing side, proof positive that you can't outpunch machinery, proof also of something else, that no matter what the future brings, man's capacity to rise to the occasion will remain unaltered.
Sure.
48
By
entire
the way, this video is old, right? I don't want to like steal it. Yeah, it's 11 months. It's fine.
years after that episode of The Twilight Zone, and the world was introduced to what I can only imagine was the love child of Sean Levy, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and probably ayahuasca. So now that you kind of understand what happened in Steel, let's quickly
Yeah.
go over what happened in Real Steel so we can answer the question, was it mid, or has marching ever closer to the infinite void that is death made us grow cynical and unable to find enjoyment and whimsy as we once did in our years of adolescence?
I remember it
I
was
think it's about
okay.
time we talk about.
Like, I had fun watching it. There's also the thing where I was a kid. I don't remember much of the movie, but I do remember I had fun. Like watching the guy like shadow box or whatever. I thought that was cool. I remember that.
This is Charlie. Think of him like Real Steel's version of Kelly. He's a boxer who was forced to retire as the world changed around him, and now he spends his days trying to make a quick buck off whatever bot he can get his hands on. Charlie is also not a good dude. Almost immediately, he's established as a sort of morally gray scammer who's deeply in debt, who also just so happens to be an absentee father. Boo, disgusting, deplorable stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely deplorable. The Greatest Showman? More like the worst dad. Am I right, guys? Come on, can we get a clap? I know.
True.
This is
I
Max.
haven't watched
Max
that.
is Charlie's son who he hasn't seen in years. Max's mom, who we never actually get to see, just got KO'd off screen, and now somebody's got to take care of him. Max's aunt thinks that she should take him. Her husband, on the other hand, wants to spend the summer in Italy and doesn't really want Max to take away from whatever geriatric lovemaking might ensue. Ugh. To make a long story short,
only has a
Charlie
few
pawns
years
off
left.
Max for 100
It
grand,
makes
50
sense.
to watch him for the summer, and 50 to return him when they get back. And thus, the story of Real Steel is born. Both Max and Charlie eventually bond over a shared love for robot boxing, and after Max finds a G2 sparring bot named Adam, the
Wait, he was a boxer and he got fucked by robots, but he still like said, yeah, fuck that. I might not have a job anymore, but yeah, robot boxing is cool, even though it took my job.
father-son duo
Damn.
quickly goes from semi-laughingstock to contenders for the world robot boxing belt, which is almost like if the dude who sells you coke went to school to be a pharmacist. It's like, I can kind of see how you got there, but wow, I didn't expect it. They fight this guy, and Anthony Mackie's here, and then they fight this guy, and whoa, it's Evangeline Lilly, but then they get beat up by an Anthony
Damn,
Mackie's here,
the
and then they fight
CGI is worse than I remember, huh? Yeah, they like stand out a lot. Like they don't fit into the world. It
this
feels
guy,
like.
and whoa, it's Evangeline Lilly. But then they get beat up by this guy, and Charlie's like, no, I'm not a good dad, which, you know, any of us could have probably told you, but then he's like, wait, maybe I can be a good dad, which is probably unlikely, but not as unlikely as Adam beating this guy, Zeus. Zeus is the reigning world robot boxing champion. He
That's
basically just looks
cool.
like a Bionicle just filled to the brim with anabolic steroids. Like literally he is just this guy. Just imagine this guy with a shit ton of
He
strength.
looks
It's
cool,
a-
though.
It's a
That's all
couple
that
problems
matters.
there. Mainly, the problem with robot boxing is the sport kind of just gets dominated by whoever has the most money to
Most
throw
money.
at the most expensive robot. In this case, Talk, racist voice Machido, and Ivanka Trump dumped millions into Zeus.
Oh yeah, because more money equals better technology and better materials. Better materials, better technology means you can basically nullify any damage a robot gets from like cheap ones. Unless they have like a bomb attached to them, I guess, and then they explode on you. Maybe that'd be a tie, I guess. No.
Turning him into an absolute weapon who throws around other robots like a Navy SEAL fighting a sickly Victorian boy.
The bots emerge from their
But along comes Charlie, Max, and Adam. Between Charlie's boxing experience and Max's probably hyperfixation, the group are able to put up a pretty good fight. And though they might not win, by the time the credits roll, we watch as Max and Charlie successfully go from strangers to father and son. Aww.
Yeah.
So why don't people like Real Steel? Besides this, I still don't want to read this. You already got
He's a dumbass. That's the fun of the movie.
this far in the
Robots
video. I don't
punching
think
each
I need
other.
to explain the
Was he expecting like aliens or something? Like a sudden like drug trafficking, like a sub-trauma?
gripes that some people
Is that it? Oh no, it's
will
not.
have for the robot boxing movie from 13 years ago. So rather than beat a dead horse and talk about a
Oh,
bunch
they
of
have to pee, so yeah.
issues
it's
you
an
can
invest.
probably draw from just looking at the poster, I want to talk about two things I've encountered while rewatching this movie that I, as biased as I may be, don't exactly love. And for
Okay,
me,
what is it?
those two things are some of the direction and the staging. When Levy was originally brought on by the Steven Spielberg and Stacy Snyder to make a robot boxing movie, he made something abundantly clear. If all you want is more robo action, there's There's lots of other filmmakers who can do that capably, but he didn't feel like that was a fresh take on the sci-fi robot story.
Okay.
Instead, Levy's vision was more of a character story, an underdog story, a father-son story than a robot boxing story. And to be honest, I think he did that really well. While
Yeah, not, no. I feel like it's 50-50, right? Between the robot and, because I was gonna say, no, the robot part is like most of the story. Like that's the whole thing of the story. But yeah, their relationship is a big part as well.
While the fights in this movie are badass and look really good for the time, for me, it's the story that plays out between Max and Charlie that makes me love this film so much. The problem is how it's shot. Especially in the earlier parts of the film, Levy utilizes a ton of medium to medium full shots. And oftentimes, characters within these shots are kind of just standing in one spot talking at each other. And while I think that's perfectly fine for an
That's how
action
normal
movie,
people
I
talk.
don't think it really helps the more dramatic character study vibe he was going for here. Listen, I didn't go to film school. I got a poli-sci degree, but I have seen a concerning amount of movies, and from that, when I think about utilizing direction to portray drama or emotion, my brain
I was in theater. I did not learn shit, by the way. To be fair, I feel like that theater class had like some weird shit because every time I went there, I got like heartburns or some shit, and I thought it was just me like having a weak body or some shit because I wasn't exercising back then. But the moment I left that class, I felt fine. Hopefully there was something weird there, and it was I feel like people normally talk like standing still, no?
typically goes
Like
to
they
more
don't move a lot?
close-up, personal shots of individual characters reacting to something going on around them. Don't get me wrong, there are
It does feel a bit stiff. No, like
personal shots of individual characters reacting to something going on around them. Don't get me wrong, there are a few scenes like that in the movie,
yeah,
but
maybe he should have put his hand on his head and like patted it or something. Maybe that
I
would
feel
have
like
been
when you
more.
contrast the direction choices for the more emotional beats with the scenes of two robots pounding each other's heads in, that dramatic core driving the plot kind of just gets watered down and can feel slightly less impactful. On top of that, some of the camera movement is so strange. For example, take this scene. After making a deal with Max, Charlie dusts off the old 1-2 and teaches Adam a couple moves. This is supposed to be a kind of pivotal scene. It's kind of impactful, kind of funny, but for some reason, it's filmed on a fucking roller coaster. I don't know if it's the editing or intentional, but bro,
Wait,
we
what?
go up and down this road like 4 times. We're zooming in, we're zooming out,
Wait, really?
we're getting crazy. This is
I don't see
crazy,
it.
and I don't really like it, but you know what? I'll give him a pass. I
I-
think
I didn't see
oftentimes when
that.
it comes to film criticism, it's kind of easy to be as hypercritical as possible. Beyond the content of what we see in a movie, we as an audience don't really have a connection with any other aspect of it, like how it's made or the
Yeah.
context behind, well, kinda anything. Like this video, for example. A few extra paragraphs in the script, and I can make it sound like Real Steel is plagued with some amateur directorial mistakes, but I haven't directed anything. And when
Sure.
I look at Levy's filmography before Real Steel, things start to make sense. I see straight comedies. I see on filmography before Real
Dude.
Steel, things start to make sense. I see straight
This was a classic, The Pink Panther. I never watched this one, but I did see the cartoons. Like, I feel like no. Yeah, the Pink Panther was like a Cuban classic. Like this was one of the big like Cuban cartoons like you could see. That and was it this just Don Quixote? Was this the other one? Uh, Cuban anime? No, animation. Yes, this one too, Don Quixote. Oh, yeah, it's Quixote, no? Quixote? Nah. Ignore that. Date Night, I haven't watched this. Maybe I did in like passing. But these two classics. Actually, if I do this, and this one too, classic. Pink Panther, Cuba animation. If I do this, could I see it? Yeah, this. Oh, dude, the memories from this one. Is there anything else? I don't remember these two. These two I remember. No. Dude, such good, like, I guess I was a kid. I'd have to like watch it again to see if it's that good.
straight comedies. I see ensemble casts that probably required a lot of the shots that I've
Haven't
been
watched
complaining
this.
about.
Have watched
I
this
see
one.
that apparently he made Big Fat Liar, so you know that's something. What I'm saying here is that criticism is easy and empathy is hard. I've been making YouTube videos on and off for years now, and I'll let you in on a little secret, most of them sucked. But without the experience of making
yeah,
those
same.
videos, I couldn't have made this, which also might suck, but who knows, we'll see. At the end of the day, all I can
I mean, I
do
feel
is
like
learn
people
and
liked
keep
it, right?
going.
Yeah.
Just like Levy, he kept going and now he's making what hopefully will be the best Marvel movie in a while. Hopefully. I need you to come through for me, bro. I'm gonna look so dumb if it will be the
This
best
is
Marvel
Deadpool, right? Is it?
and keep going. Just like Levy, he kept going and now he's making what hopefully will be the best Marvel movie in a while. Hopefully. I need you to come through for me, bro. I'm gonna look
I don't know
so
what-
dumb
I'm
if it's
thinking
bad.
it's Deadpool, right? I haven't watched Deadpool. I usually don't watch like Deadpool, Superman, like two OP characters because there's no point. It's like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna do to Superman. Are they gonna bring like a random rock from like space now and like beat him? Wow. He's probably not gonna overpower them even then.
Alright, so finally, it's time to answer the big question. Was Real Steel mid? No.
It was
You see,
good.
Real Steel is not some dramatic character piece. Real Steel isn't even a movie about robot boxing. In fact, you already know what Real Steel is. We all do. How? We were told all the way back in 1963. At the end of the day, more so than anything, Real Steel is proof positive that you can't outpunch machinery, but it's proof also of something else. That no matter what the future brings, man's capacity to rise to the occasion will remain unaltered. I mean, it was like a little bit mid.
I mean, I see what he did there, but I disagree. Like with these critiques of like the camera, I personally didn't see it, but I'm also, I guess, like I like all kinds of music. I like all kinds of like movies, games. So I guess I have like a big palette. I guess that's what it's called, right? Where there's a lot of things I like. So maybe that's why I can't really make a like I see
With
this
some
type of like
amateur-
things and it's like, oh yeah, it looks fine to me. And it's give a like. I'm gonna put his video in the description if you want to see it. Give a like, subscribe. Pretty good video overall. Peace.